So in this Django tutorial, welcome. Welcome to my Django tutorial. And in this tutorial, we're going to be building a blogging application with Django. Now, Django is a Python framework or Python library to go and build web applications. And web applications are apps that sit on the web, not on your desktop. Those are desktop apps. They sit on the web and you view them in your browser. So Django is a very popular framework or library for Python, which allows you to build these web apps. So let me start showing you my screen. Okay, so let me just clear this. So firstly, you'll need to open a folder in Visual Studio Code or PyCharm, whichever IDE you use. I recommend Visual Studio Code. And over here, you'll have to install Django. So you open up an integrated terminal, new terminal, and type pip install Django. So after you've installed Django, you might need to clear this terminal, and after that type Django admin start project my blogging app. So in this tutorial, you're going to be making a blogging app with Django to learn how to use Django. So you're going to have to create a project, but this command will currently create a new folder inside this folder. To stop that from happening, just put a dot here next to blogging app. Now press enter and the project should be created. Now if this command Django admin does not work, you might have to do some troubleshooting to get it onto your path. Okay, so after this has been done, you can see here inside this blogging app folder, you've got a few files, and then you've even got a manage.py outside blogging app. So inside blogging app, you have init.py. So Python thinks this is a module. ASGI and WSGI are gateways to go and deploy your Django application to AWS or Google Cloud. Settings.py is where you store all these settings for your Django app, and urls.py is where you tell Django what to show the user who comes to a certain URL on your website. So right now the admin will go to admin.site.urls. We've imported admin from django.contrib here, and you don't alter this at all. You can change this path to manage or whatever you would like, but in this tutorial we're not going to change it. Now let's run the server locally so that we see what it looks like. Say Python manage.py. You can see manage.py here, and we're going to pass a command run server. Now this is going to run the server locally. You can see this URL, copy it and paste it in your browser. As you can see here, it says the install worked successfully, congratulations. You should always try this out to make sure that your project works. Otherwise, you'll have to try again. Now, this is nice what we saw, but we still haven't turned it into a blogging application. So for that, we're going to have to create apps, map URLs, have models, It's quite complex, but I'll keep it simple in this course. So an app is inside a project. It sits inside a project, and each app is designated to do a particular task or function. Like you would keep one app for all of your blog posts, one for the login page, one for the logout page, one for the dashboard, all of that. So that's what we'll have to use apps for. So we can create an app by saying python manage.py start app. Let's call this posts. We want it to be for our blog posts. Don't put a dot this time. Start app posts. As you can see, it'll come up here. We have posts. You can see init.py here as well, so that's treated as a module. There are several other files here, Python files. We'll ignore apps.py and tests.py in this tutorial. Okay, so now let's head over to our urls.py, and as I said, from urls.py we'll have to send a URL such as admin or home. We'll have to send it to the correct app. Right now we want all URLs to go to this posts app. The posts app here will be managing all URLs, because I think we'll only have 1 or 2 URLs mapped in this tutorial. So here we have to specify that it needs to go to posts. Before that, in posts, create a urls.py so that it can choose where its URLs should go. urls.py here, say include posts.urls. We'll have to import include from Django.urls. Now that we've done this, copy this code, head over to urls.py, paste it, remove the admin, include this admin mapping as well, and inside this URL patterns list we can map where all our URLs should go, to which view. So views can be HTTP responses, or you can render entire HTML pages. So let's say views.index. Want it to go to views.index, which will be a function. We'll have to import views from our current folder. So from dot import views, but we still not created anything inside views. So here let's create a function, say def, and we want all URLs here as well. As of now, the empty URL as of now to go to views.index. So def index, we'll have to pass an argument request. Django will pass it for us, and then here from Django.shortcuts actually add HTTP response as well. And here let's say return, we want to return a response back to the client which made a request to the server. HTTP response, return HTTP response, and you can actually put in HTML code in here, and you need to know HTML, a basic understanding of HTML to understand this course completely. So over here, let's send an HTTP response as you have reached views.index. Save this. Python manage.py run server. Let's go back to our browser and refresh. You can see it says you have reached views.index. Now if we go to a different path here, it'll give us a 404. Now this is a 404 that you will get only if debug is set to true. You can actually create your own 404 page as well, but we won't be doing that as of now. So we've got this views.index. We've got this message here. We got it on our client. It works. But now there's still more to do. We have to go and use Bootstrap, which I've mentioned in the description, to go and build a responsive website so that we can go and create a website which is responsive. And Bootstrap has several components which we will need in this tutorial. So we've got this simple HTTP response, but now what about web page, actual HTML pages? So hence let's create a new folder called templates, or HTML templates. I'll call it templates. Create go to settings.py, and I said here we'll have to keep all our settings. Scroll down to first, let's say views.py. Get back here. Scroll till you find dirs, and over here type os.path.join base dir and templates in a string, which is our folder name here. Let's import OS. We've imported OS, right? Yes, we've imported OS. And now in our templates, let's create a new HTML file. New file. Let's call this index.html. And inside this, let's say h1 hello world. This is a template. Save this. Head over to your views. Delete all of this and say render, which we've imported. You can delete HTTP response. Render. Here we'll have to put our request. Render our request. And we've got index.html here, pass the name, index.html. And then we're good to go. Now let's try and go to the same URL. Go back here. It says hello world. This is a template. Now we're going to be using this template. Not exactly this template, but we're going to be using a template to go and render our pages. So now head over to getbootstrap.com so that we can use Bootstrap for their CSS and JavaScript. Getbootstrap.com. Head over to their docs. Copy this CSS. Go back to Visual Studio Code. Head over to index.html. Delete everything. If you're on Visual Studio Code, there's a shortcut to getting the default HTML code. use an exclamation mark and press enter. We've got this default HTML. Change the title to all blog posts. Below this, inside the head tag itself, put the CSS link and the JavaScript. Copy their bundle and put it in your body, the end of your body. So we've got the JavaScript bundle. Now, if you don't exactly understand HTML, I suggest you get a good understanding of HTML and then come back to this tutorial. Okay, now here we'll create wheels. Okay, now we have to put our heading. Let's call it h1. We'll have a heading of type 1, and here let's type all blog posts. Head over to Bootstrap's website, go to their components, head over to cards, just a second. And over here you can see this. Copy it, go back to Visual Studio Code and paste it here. Save this, go back to your browser and refresh. You can see that the blog posts will come here in something called a card. This is what a card looks like. We can have an image here, such as a thumbnail, a short description, the title, and the link to go to the blog post. And we can put all of these side by side. Now, to make sure that they don't go too close to the edges, let's go back to index.html. Over here, put them inside a div class container. I think this is good enough. Div class container. Delete that. Now head back to the browser, refresh. You can see that it's got some padding on this side. Back to our card. Inside this container, let's put them inside a row. Div class row. This isn't completely necessary, but I would recommend adding a row. So div class row. Take this all the way down there. We've got a div row, and now that that's done, let's copy this card and paste it. Now something interesting happens here. You would expect them to come side by side, but there's no padding to the left and right. So let's head back to Visual Studio Code. Inside this div class card. Let's delete this. Div class call md4. So supposed to put padding. Now let's head over here. Copy this call md4 along with the card. Copy it and paste. Okay, that's enough. Head back. Okay, we're having a tiny problem here. I think we'll have to let's remove this. It should work. Let's remove the card. Let's keep them side by side. Now here we'll have to use something called Jinja to go and edit this HTML, and when Django renders it, it'll check this Jinja formatting and then it'll make changes to the HTML. So the first thing is we'll have to go and use this. Exclamation mark inside the square brackets. For post in posts, now Django doesn't know when a for loop has ended, so we have to move this outside the card. And over here put an end for. So this card title, change it to card post dot title, and change this to post dot description. Now when Django renders this, it'll check all of these and make necessary changes to the HTML before rendering. Our image URL, we'll put that later, and we'll put the the URL for our post. View, let's say view, and inside the href let's put post dot URL. We'll change these later. Let's quit our server. Now when we run our server, you can see you have it said you have 18 unapplied migrations. Now these migrations are spaces that migrations are made to give space in databases for some things called models. Now models here, we use it to take data from an admin, and that's the same admin that you saw in the URLs of blogging app. So when we go to localhost port 8000 or 127.0.0.1 slash port 8000 slash admin, it goes to our admin page. We've still not created our login for the admin page, but we can still create our migrations before that. So run python manage.py migrate. It's applying all our migrations. So after all of the migrations have been made, here create a class, let's call this post, class post model, and over here models, say title is models dot character field, and we don't want anyone having a very long title such as 200 characters, so let's limit it to 150 characters. Max length, the maximum length is 150, and then our URL, let's keep this even shorter, just like some 75 characters. Dot character field, the maximum length is 75 or 100 characters. And now the description. The description could be pretty long, so hence we'll use a models dot text. We can use a character field as well here. Let's keep the maximum length to say 400 characters. We also have our we can use a text field as well, since this is pretty big. And after that we'll have to take the date created, so date created is equal to models dot date time field. You can take a date field as well, doesn't matter. And then we'll have to take a file field for the thumbnail. So thumbnail is going to go to models dot file field, and upload to, let's say, thumbnails. Actually, let's go to media.thumbnails. I don't think we need to. Oh yeah, we need to create another field for another file field. Let's call this HTML content. So for the content of the blog post, so HTML content is models. Let's take another file field, copy the same code, paste models.file field, upload it to models.html. Now that's the HTML content. I think we've made all the models. Save that. And then in the admin, we're going to have to create this inside the admin page, right? So inside the admin page, you can create new instances of this class, and these new instances will be stored inside this db.sqlite3. So don't delete this database. You don't have to write any SQL code here. Django does all of that automatically for you. So here let's say admin.site.register, and here let's register models from .import models.post. Now here say python manage.py create super user. I'll use my name, email address, you don't need to enter an actual email address, it doesn't matter, and password. And then the super user is created successfully. Now we'll have to run our make migrations. We've saved everything. Models. Did we register our models earlier? Oh, we have to go into settings and get into installed apps, and here put posts. Now let's try make migrations. We've created our model post. Let's migrate. Now let's run our server. Refresh. We'll change this, fix this error later. Right now just head over to admin. You can see it's asking you to log in. And then here you can save your password if you want. This is your admin page. It's quite basic, but it's still easy to use the interface. So inside your posts here, you can create a new user to log into this admin page directly from here without writing any code. You can make a post, choose our thumbnail, HTML content today and now, the date, create a description, URL and title. You can do a lot inside this admin page. So right now let's go and create a new post. I want to create my post as my first post, and let's leave the URL as first post, and let's keep the description as this is my very first post, and let's put the date created and time created for the thumbnail. And let's head over to Visual Studio Code, temporarily create a new file called html content.html, and call this, and just type h1 my first blog post. Put any content you want, any HTML content. Go back here, choose the file, choose our HTML content and save. So here we have our post. We can edit this, and then when we go back to our homepage, you can see even your recent actions. So if we say view site, we can view our site, but this is still not enough, because we need the viewers to know how to read these models, these posts, and put them at the home page here. It's the home page. So head over back to Visual Studio Code. Just a second. Okay, and you can see that the errors that we get here are even shown on our Django website, and this comes only, and we have that template syntax error. This is a syntax error. We'll have to change that later, and we're getting the errors even inside our website. This is a feature that you only get when debug is set to true. When you've deployed it, right, you don't want people to know about any errors occurring on your server. You want to have handled all of them and make sure that the user doesn't see them. That's why it's set debug to false. Okay, so now let's head over back to our views. I think we can close all of the other ones here. Or let's just keep urls.py and views.py here. So here, type say blog posts is equal to post dot objects dot all, and this is a function. We're retrieving data from the MySQL database. So we need from models is in the same folder. We'll have to import post, and when we're rendering it here, just put this here, posts is blog posts, sorry. Let's fix that template syntax error. You can delete your HTML content here. Oh, and did you notice this media folder? Let's go back to our models for a minute. Remember we had said media/thumbnails. Inside media/thumbnails, we've got the thumbnail here, and we've got inside our HTML content, we've got the HTML content. So this is, we've literally uploaded the file from the client to the server. In this case, it's the same machine. Back to our views.py. You've sent that. You've given post as blog posts. Let's head over to templates. Let's remove this div class row. I don't think we'll need it. Is everything inside the same div? Yes. Everything's working fine. Our image URL. Let's just change this to files slash post dot thumbnail. I think that's all we'll have to do for that. Post our title, post our description, view, all of that. And the view, let's say post slash post dot URL. Got a post dot URL there. We can put back our call MD4, call div class call MD4. Copy this. Let's check back in the bottom. Let's see our server. It's running. Let's go to view site. As you can see, my first post, we've still not got the image URL. Why? Now that's because we haven't put a media directory for all the images. So let's do that, and let's create a separate app just for this, just to manage the files. In fact, since we're creating another app, why not create models for that app so that you can upload other files that you may need to use in your blog post, such as some zip file or video that you want to share in your blog post, right? So let's do that as well. So shut down the server, Python manage.py start app. Let's call this files. Oh, and just let's test this first. Let's duplicate this. Oops, we made a mistake. Copy that, delete it from there, paste it in here. We won't need this div. Let's check it now. Check. Oops, we aren't running the server. I think we'll run the server temporarily to test if this is working. Okay, let's copy this. See if we can have 2 of them. We'll fix that issue later. Okay. Right now we need to get into our models. Let's close these. We're almost done with our first app. Files, let's go into, we will need a urls.py. Startup, new urls.py. Let me check if there are any questions in the live chat. Okay, no questions. In the urls.py, I have some code. Let me just paste it in here and explain what I did. Let's remove path. So django.conf.urls.static import static. Now we don't need to understand what the static is, any of this, but all you need to understand is that this is, we're mapping the URLs to go to our files. Now settings, we're importing our settings from django.conf. They'll be the same settings that we've set here in settings.py. We need our media root and our media URL, and we're creating a static URL. A static URL, which means that there'll be no dynamic content over there. We're only going to be viewing our page, the files that we've uploaded here in media. Now let's go back to settings.py. There's something we need to do. Settings.py. You need to make sure that the static URL is set to static. Make sure that that's working. That's it. You can change your time zone. I'm going to leave it as it is. And now let's, oh yeah, in these settings, one more thing we had to do in settings, sorry. We needed to scroll back up to our installed apps and even add files. Now in the admin of our posts, in the admin here, let's create a class. Let's call it post admin dot model admin, and list display where is a tuple. Let's keep it as the title and date created, which is what we should see when we see all of the blog posts in a list. Date created. So we next to this add a comma and post admin. Where's our models? Everything's working. And now when we go to, let's go back to our files here. Files, got URLs here. Do we have any views? We won't need any views, I think. Let's go to the models here. And here, let's create a file, class file, models dot model regular. The file is equal to our models dot file field, and let's send it to media, upload to media/file up. Let's set our title. Title is models dot character field. Let's set its max length to only 100. And then back, we had our admin here. Copy everything over here and go into its admin, the admin of our this. Paste it in here. Let's change this. You need to retain a comma. Just the title, we'll keep it. Oops. Change it to file and file and another file. Save it. We'll need to make some migration soon, but leave it for the moment. Okay, let's go here. Let's check if everything's working. Okay, now let's make some migrations. We've got our model file migrate, run server. We're running our server. Go to your browser, refresh. Why is the URL still not working? Let's go into our admin. Let's go into our posts. My first post. Oops, we haven't mapped our URLs yet inside for our files. Let's go back to our settings URLs. And let's copy this. And this, let's send it to files and include files.urls. Now let's go here, say files slash. As you can see, we've got our thumbnail there. Back to our, let's refresh. What's going on here? Oops. Oh, we changed our class name instead of changing. Did we need to have, I think this. this. Let's run inspect this and see what's going on. Our src thumbnail, change that, go back to our browser, refresh now. Okay, it's working. But when we say view, we still don't get to see our posts. So we'll do something really quickly. Go to our posts. Let's change our URLs. Have to change our URLs in posts. Let's keep this. Let's set it to post/str URL title views.show. We don't have views.show, so we'll go into our views. Let's close everything else here. Just keep our views open. And let me just explain this quickly. We don't have much time left. Our HTML location is going to be post.objects.all and we're filtering it. And let's just change it to URL. And if you read the documentation, you'll see that this URL title, we can use it to filter by a character field or text field. We can use it to filter a model, an instance using that. We're taking the HTML content. Is it models HTML underscore HTML content? Save this. Let's change it. So let's call this blog post. Let's create a new file. For blog post dot html and you can see that our content, it's opening our HTML file location, the HTML file. It's reading the content and putting it inside our content here, which we'll create. Got our default HTML. Let's just a second. And over here, let's call this, we'll put this post.title. We'll put a heading. We'll put we don't need to put anything. We'll directly put a div for our content. Div class container to give padding on the left and right. And then let's say content save. This makes sure that our HTML gets rendered as HTML. Save this. Go here. Say view post. Post/first post. URL title. I want to check if our URL, let's go to copy this, admin, Just go to admin. Let's head over to our, is it post? Let's change this to post / first post. You can see my first blog post is the content. So our HTML content is getting rendered and then everything's working in here. Let's just change it from post to posts. Here, now let's check. Let's go back, say view. We get to view our post. So we can have several of, oh, we forgot, did we put, what about description? Our index.html, our post.description, change that, go here, refresh. We've got our description here as well. So we've created our blogging application. There's just one tiny problem we need to solve. Let's create a new post. Second post. Let's change it to post 2. Give no description. Today, now a thumbnail. Let's choose our HTML content. Let's go right back to see our media. We'll use the same HTML content. HTML content, upload, save. Let's go and view our site. You can see that it's come below each other. I've not used the date in this one, so let's quickly use that. And there's another problem to solve. If we remove class column MD4, refresh, let's check, did we save? Okay, I can't find a solution to this right now. If I find a solution, I'll put it in the comment section. But as of now, all we have to do now is head over here to our views, change this to blog posts dot reverse. We'll have to reverse blog posts dot reverse. Once that's done, we'll go here, index. Let's put we can put our date small, and over here post dot date underscore created. We reversed it so that we get it from latest to oldest. Okay, that doesn't seem to reverse. Blog posts. Let's try this. Okay, so we're getting it in the order of newest to oldest. Okay, so that's everything that you needed to know in this course. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll try and fix that issue and give the solution in the comments. So thank you for watching. Okay, so that was the end of our stream, and thank you for watching. Do subscribe to this channel if you do support it, and like this video if you found it helpful.